Hello and welcome to the reading vlog. This is officially the first video I'm filming in 2023. I'm sure you'll have seen other videos by now because there's going to be loads of end of year content. But yeah, it is currently 20 to 1 on like the morning of January 1st, so like 40 minutes after midnight basically. And I thought I'd just get this video started because I'm probably going to read a book in bed before I go to sleep, which I want to do basically ASAP. So this is a little video idea that I had. Basically, it's 2023. There's a new Goodreads goal, like new year, new Goodreads goal. I thought I'd do a 48-hour reading vlog, just try and get through a few books, get some books onto the Goodreads goal. I know it's silly because I set my own goal, and every year I set my Goodreads goal as one book more than I read the previous year. And if I don't reach it, that's fine. And I can also change it in the year if I want to. Like, it's not a big deal. But when it says I'm like on schedule or behind schedule, it really stresses me out. I know it shouldn't, I know it's stupid, but it does. I like to see that I'm at least 2 to 3 books ahead of schedule because that's just who I am. And what if I have a week where I don't want to read? What if I'm in a reading slump? Well, then it's okay because I'm a few books ahead. So yeah, that's the plan for the next 48 hours, is just to read as much as possible. This is a super chill start because I've had a bath, I'm ready for bed, and I will check in properly in the morning. Obviously I know it's technically morning now, but is it really? But yeah, these are some books that I'm hoping to read in the next 48 hours. Obviously not all of them, but these are either like my graphic novels, manga, graphic novels, or my very short books. Here we've got some plays, poetry and a novella. So yeah, those are all different books that I've got. I think I'm going to go to bed reading Dinosaur Philosophy as my first book. I'm not going to go through these books now. As and when I read them, I will talk about them because I don't really have a plan of what to pick up. I know I want to read Dinosaur Philosophy, and it makes sense to read Death of a Naturalist because that fulfills my prompt for the Buzzwordathon challenge for January. The rest of them, I could read some, I could not read some. There are a few of these that are on my official January TBR, such as The Tempest and Binti. I think that's all of them on the official January TBR, but yeah, basically there's a load of books here. I'm going to start with this one, so let's just talk about it. Let's just get straight into the video. We're just reading as many books as possible in 48 hours. It's a 48-hour reading vlog, same as a normal one, exact same, except it's right at the start of the year. So this is officially going to be my first book of the year. The first dinosaur book is called Dinosaur Therapy. This is the second little like comic style graphic novel in the series. The first one I think I gave 5 stars. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly confident I did. I realise I'm sat right in front of my laptop, so I quickly checked it. I gave it 4.5 stars and rounded it to 5 for Goodreads. So I'm going in with high hopes. It won't take me long to read. It's very short. Like, each page is a little comic strip, which is throughout the graphic novel basically. So these 4 images here connect together. That's one thing, that's the next thing, so on and so forth. They're super small, super simple. I really like it. I really like these illustrations. I like them a lot. I follow them on Instagram too, and they post a lot of illustrations and like comic strips on there. So yeah, that's the first book I'm planning to read. On the back it just says, a comic about dinosaurs finding meaning together. That's all we can see, but I'm really excited to get started, really excited to get going. I'm just going to read this before going to sleep, so that'll be my first book of 2023. I'll check in the morning. Okay, so last night / this morning I've actually ended up reading 2 books. So I finished Dinosaur Philosophy. It was great. I did have a really good time with it, really enjoyed it. There were some pages that like I made a note of the numbers of that were just like particularly like, yes, that is me. I'm giving it 4.5 stars and I've rounded it up to 5 stars for Goodreads. Honestly, yeah, really happy with it, but it was really decent, and it was definitely like an added addition to the first book, Dinosaur Therapy. I was worried it could be like slightly repetitive, I guess, but it wasn't. Like, it was really good. Yeah, and this is like a book that I'm definitely think my boyfriend needs to read. Like, I think he'd get a lot out of this as well, which is silly to say it like that because like it literally is just like these little comic strips, but like honestly there's so much in them, there's so much to think about and like talk about and say. So yeah, read that one, 4.5 stars, amazing, great way to start the year. Then I also ended up picking up Heartstopper Yearbook. The basics are, I didn't have high hopes going into this. I really didn't expect a lot from what it says on the back as to like what's in here. I honestly thought it was going to be a bit much for me personally, a bit cringy, not really care about it. I had very low expectations. Like, of the things on the back, one of them I was like, oh okay, I could enjoy that. But actually it was really good. Like, my expectations were really exceeded with it. I had a great time. Like, the showing of the art process, I don't know why I just didn't expect it to be great. I think because I kept linking it in my head to the how to draw section, which like doesn't intrigue me, but like it was actually so good. There were even some pages where like you could see the exact same scene when it was originally drawn versus when it was like drawn to be published, and it was great. Like, I had so much fun. Like, the first quarter to a third of the book I'd say is just like a look through the years of how like the drawings have changed, the characters have changed, how like the art style's changed, and it was so much fun. Like, I had a great time. I was constantly smiling, it was great. And then we just had loads of added extras. Like, honestly there were 2 sections throughout the entire thing that I didn't care for, which was the how to draw section, and there was like a trivia section of like answer these questions and find out which character you're most like which. Like, I grew up like the time I'm thinking of is like early 2000s. You'd get magazines like that and it'd be like, answer these questions to find out what kind of thing you are, and I've never liked that, never enjoyed it, never been a thing I wanted to do. So like for me personally, that was just something, you know, like it doesn't say it on the back, but I knew that that sort of thing was in here. I must have read it somewhere else. Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to that, but like it was only a handful of pages. Like, the bits that I wasn't looking forward to and didn't find good were a handful of pages. So yeah, really enjoyed it. If you're a big fan of Heartstopper, I would recommend. I do think you can get stuff from it. Like, I consider myself a pretty big fan. Like, I really love the graphic novels, really love the TV show, and I'm giving it 4 stars. So yeah, I think if you're not a big fan, you probably won't get as much out of it, but yeah, this was really great. So really enjoyed it, and that's 2 books down already. So what's my plan now? Honestly, I ended up having a really late night last night. Jay didn't get in till like 5 AM, so like I was kind of half awake until then. I got like kind of like 2 hours sleep between like 3 and 5, but like they were kind of sleeps. We didn't get up till late. It is now 20 to 4. Yeah, 20 to 4. The books I'm going to concentrate on next are these 2. The reason I'm concentrating on 2 is there's an audiobook for one and the other one I'll be reading physically. So I guess Geoff and Naturalist I'll talk about first. This is a very short poetry collection. It's like 44 pages. The reason I'm really pushing to read this right now is because this will fulfill the prompt for the buzzword reading challenge for the year. Yeah, so that's the basic reason why. I think that the prompt for January is something along the lines of life and death or something. I know this fits. I've like looked through the year and figured out what fits, so I know this is one that does. And I'm pretty sure it's the word death being in it that makes it fit, so I assume it's like life/death as the prompt. So yeah, that one I will be reading physically, kind of just throughout the day. I'm hoping to pick it up, read a few poems, put it down, pick it up, read a few poems, put it down. The reason I'm not as excited about it as you might expect is I have yet to find older poetry that I enjoy. Honestly, like I have found I really like modern, like newer poetry, the way it's being written, and I really enjoy the themes that are being explored in like the modern poetry that I've picked up so far. But this book was originally published in 1966, and so far my experience with older poetry just hasn't been great, honestly. Like, it hasn't. Like, some I've ended up even rating low. Like, they're not like the worst books I've read, but like they have ended up with low ratings. So yeah, like I want to read it. I still want to figure out like what poetry I enjoy, what poetry I could enjoy. Like, I still want to try lots of different poetry from like all different times and all different places, and figure out what I like and dislike and what vibes with me and what doesn't. So this is another one for that, but I'm not feeling too hopeful, I guess is the easiest way to say it. But it's 44 pages. I'll pick it up for the day and get reading it. Then the other book that I'm concentrating on right now is Binti. I have the audiobook for this. The audiobook for this one is on Scribd, so that's great. I have quite a bit of painting to do today. We're still trying to decorate the office. So whilst Jay is out, I think I'm going to try and get the final, hopefully, fingers crossed, coat of the green done at least. So yeah, I can listen to the audiobook whilst doing that. This sounds really interesting. It's a sci-fi, it's published by Tor. I've been really enjoying the Tor books that I've read like the last year, so I have high hopes. From what I understand about it, Binti, our main character, is going to university. Where she comes from has like culture and customs that aren't really like seen and recognised at this new university, but she, for some sort of thing that comes up that she has to help fight, I assume, against, she will need both like the customs and the culture that she's learnt from home and like the knowledge that she can gain from university. That's kind of what I understand from the back. I've read this back about 4 times now in different videos, so like that's my current understanding. I didn't want to read it all again, but yeah, it sounds really good and I'm really intrigued by it. And this is like a 5-star prediction, honestly. Like I don't like saying that, but like it kind of is. Like, I do expect this to be really good. I'm really excited to read it. And it, again, it's just a short little novella. It's 90 pages total, so like it's only short. But yeah, these are the 2 books that I'm going to concentrate on for now and get reading. So I wasn't finding this like particularly interesting or anything, but like the writing wasn't bad. I was like, fine, like it's not touching me, like it's, you know, like I'm not feeling anything through this, but like it's fine. And then I got to page 11, which has a poem on called The Early Purges, and it's all about drowning animals, kittens, pups, rats, rabbits, crows. It's all about drowning them and how the prevention of cruelty talk cuts ice in town where death is a natural. It's like, there's no need to kill things. Yeah, I'm not feeling great about it. I wasn't having the worst time up until then. I was a bit like this is just fine, but like I was like, you know, still probably 3 stars. I'm not so sure after reading that one. I'm a bit worried about what the rest of the poems are going to be about. So yeah, I think I'm going to put it down for now, take some time away from it, see where we end up. Okay, so I'm still 11 pages into the poetry book and I've read, I'm going to guess 3 to 7 pages of Binti. I have started listening to the audio. Basically, I need to read the book at the same time as the audio to get into it. It wasn't one that I could easily just listen to and like my brain follow. So yeah, I mean that happens like at least 50% of the time, so it's not a big deal, but I just don't want to do that right now. My brain is feeling really like it needs pictures, honestly. I know that sounds weird. I don't know if that is weird, but I think it's because I read 2 graphic novels to start off with. My brain's just like, yeah, more of that please. So I'm going to pick up Spy X Family Volume 1. This is my first ever manga. I'm really excited. I find the idea of manga really good, but also very overwhelming and very daunting. You often find there's a lot of volumes and a lot of things, so I often get manga for my like small business, for my pre-loved book business, and so often I'm tempted to keep them, but I'm like, no, you're not keeping them for yourself. I really make sure that I do a lot of research before picking them up, and this is a series that I'm really confident in and that I really want to like give a good go and that I feel like I can keep up with. It is still coming out, but there's not that many out at the moment, so I do feel like over the next few years I can just like catch up and then keep up. Like, I'm not feeling overwhelmed by that. So for now, this is the only manga that I do plan on reading, but I do imagine I will start reading more in the future. Okay, so it's taken me a very long time to read this, but I know eventually have. Honestly, it's taken me pretty much the entire day, and it was only 44 pages. Honestly, I'm going to give it 1 star. I wasn't a fan. I feel like the first few poems, like, I was kind of feeling like, oh, nice, alright, okay. I wasn't moved by them. They didn't, like, emotionally get to me. I didn't connect with them. But I was like, well, like, they're fair enough, they're alright. Like, you know, this is fine. There were a large amount of poems in the middle of the book, like probably over half, that I really didn't like or went straight over my head. But like a lot of them were to do with like killing animals, which I just don't understand. Like, why? Like, I don't know. I just, yeah, a lot of them I just really did not like. And for that reason, I'm giving it 1 star. Like, I feel a bit bad, honestly. And I feel a bit tricked because 2 poems before the end, there was one again where I was like, oh, yeah, like, that's pretty decent. But I feel like if that one, and I feel like there were like 2 or 3 near the start, with the 4 that I'd read, I would think I might quite like this poet. Like, I might want to read more. But having read the whole collection, I'm like, no, I don't. Because even the ones that I liked, like, I didn't love. I wasn't... I don't know, like, I didn't feel them. Like, I know, I find it very difficult to rate poetry, because for me, it's the feeling it gives you is, you know, I don't need to connect and relate and, like, be feeling or have felt the things within a poem to rate it highly. But the feeling it gives me when reading it, that is really how I feel, like, I rate poetry. And, like, there were more poems in this that, like, disgusted me than I liked. And no, I'm again just using the word liked, as in they were fine. So yeah, it's a 1 star. I'm gonna get my laptop out in a minute and like write it down. But basically I've set myself up to do a bit of reading this evening, and I've been trapped. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but like the little boy's on my feet and then the big fluff's even further down. So I'm well and truly trapped. So I can reach my other books. They are, yep, there we go. So might do a bit more reading, I'm not sure. I'm going to watch a few YouTube videos because Jay's just gone to bed, so I'm going to like actually look through and see if there's some videos I would like to watch by myself. But yeah, then I'm probably going to pick one of these back up, not sure which. I'm like, how much is that? Like a quarter of the way into Spy Family, enjoying it so far, I think it's like fine. And I'm still only a few pages into Binti because I haven't, well, I think I'm going to restart it because I looked and I think I only got 3 pages in listening to just the audiobook by itself. So I think I'm just going to restart those 3 pages and read whilst the audiobook's going on, just to completely get in the right mindset, because I don't think I was just following it enough. Yeah, so I've already explained that, I don't need to explain it again. But yeah, these 2 are the ones that I'm still hoping to read like soonish, like tonight, and I would like to think I'll still be able to get more done tomorrow. Obviously, I don't actually know what time it is now. Do I have a phone on me? There. Okay, so it's 11:30, so almost halfway through. Like, it's been almost 24 hours since I started this. So I did start this at like basically midnight last night. So you know, 3 books in that time isn't bad, but I definitely would like to read some more. I definitely want to make sure I read these 2, and I'd like to pick up 1 or 2 more as well. Like they're super small, these books aren't taking me long to read. I have done other stuff as well today, like I haven't just been sat reading, but I do feel a lot better about getting in front of my goal and doing all that. So yeah, that's the plan for the rest of the evening. Okay, so I've come to the toilet to do this update because Jay is fast asleep. But essentially I am 30% of the way through Binti. It's now just after 1 o'clock, so I'm going to go to bed now. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's really, really good. Essentially, we've had the setup. We've had Binti on her way to like go to university, and we've had like the big event happen that I'm guessing is going to affect the direction of the story. The first 30% has pretty much all been set up, so it's been interesting. It's been interesting to like learn about, but I'm ready for the story to start now. I'm enjoying it, but because it's a novella, it feels like there's so little left. Like I think I've only got about 50 to 60 pages left. The whole story's got to happen in that. I don't know. I'm really intrigued. I still have high hopes. I feel like we spent a long time on the setup, but then again we haven't really spent a long time on the setup because like 30 pages isn't actually that much. So yeah, I don't know, still feeling good about it. Enjoyed what I've read so far. I'm worried that the story isn't going to feel like whole and complete, but yeah, let's go to bed and read more in the morning. I'm giving it 4 stars. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I had such a good time with it. I definitely wish that I like already had the other books to be able to just like pick up and keep going, so that to me is a sign that like I really enjoyed it. There are a couple of gripes that I had, which is why it is 4 stars rather than 5. They're not really big issues, they just mean that like for me it doesn't class as a 5-star. It was over a third of the book to be able to like get into the story for me. Like, you know, like a lot of this book is introduction because like this is a whole new world and it's a very short book, but I feel like the first third was very much like difficult, and like I was still learning about it. Like I couldn't just absorb myself in it, like I really had to concentrate and I guess keep myself reading is the best way to describe it. Like I couldn't just be totally surrounded by this world. I don't know, like I see it visually when I read, and like normally like once I start reading I just want to keep going, and I feel like that just didn't quite happen at the start of it, so it was a bit disappointing to begin with, but like it made up for it definitely. And then there was just one other thing where there's a perception that Binti has, there is something that she believes, and then the next chapter, well like the next, not even chapter, like paragraph, because it's not actually split up into chapters, like the next paragraph, it starts with her like saying her new opinion of this thing and a new perception, and it's like a complete 180, it's completely different. And you know, like that was quite near the end, but I found it really quite jarring. Like we didn't have any explanation as to like what had happened. It was very much just like 1 minute it was this case, next minute it was this case, and like it's silly because it was literally just that one thing, but it did take me out of the story, and I feel like I came to understand the change in opinion due to the rest of the book, but I didn't understand it at the time, and it really did take me out of it. So yeah, that's why it's got 4 stars, but I still really enjoyed it. I still really loved it, and yeah, had a great time with it. We'll definitely be getting the other 2 books in the series and giving those a read at some point, hopefully soon. So I'm still reading Spy Family, still probably at pretty much the same place I was when I updated yesterday. I have these books to like kind of pick from. Like obviously I can pick any book I want, but like these are the shorter ones that I like picked out because I thought they'd be good for this 48 hours. I'm gonna go paint for a bit and I'll just check in when I next have time to pick up a book. Okay, me again. Just wanted to check in. It's actually a couple of days later now, but I never finished this video off. I did end up finishing Spy Family that night. After I last checked in, I finished Spy Family that evening. Really good, really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars in the end if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm definitely intrigued to continue on. The humour just wasn't really my sort of humour, to be honest. Like I didn't really laugh, and it's meant to be a humorous manga, so like yeah, I don't know, like I'm still intrigued by it, just wasn't as good as I was expecting, which is disappointing, but still had a good time, just didn't find it funny. Then I mean, I haven't picked this back up since, but that night I was trying to finish the Suffragettes, and as you can see by my book light still being in it, I got to page 36, so just over halfway. But yeah, I will finish this off at some point this month, but for now that is as far as I get. I'm enjoying it so far. I studied the like Suffragettes and the Suffragettes it was in school, and it was before GCSE level, so probably like year 8 or year 9, and I feel like with my base knowledge that I have from that, this is a really interesting book, and it's a really cool book to like see like what things would actually look like. There's a lot of like inserts of like actual flyers, actual newspaper bits, stuff like that, but it didn't really have any introduction to it, so I do feel like you do need a base knowledge to start with, even though it seems like it's going to be a very small simple book that would just give you like a basic overview. It does, but it doesn't actually give you the introduction to what it is that you get in a basic overview of, so you do need a bit of base knowledge for it. But yeah, I'm interested and I am going to finish it at some point. But yeah, those are the 5 books I ended up reading for this video. I feel good. I feel really good, to be honest. My Goodreads is now telling me that I am 4 books ahead of schedule for what I should have read, and I now feel like I can just keep reading. I think when I checked the other day, I needed to read 3 books a week to complete my thing, so I might end up needing to do one of these videos in the middle of the year to help myself out, because I'd say 2 books a week is my actual normal average. Like, I'll just have the odd weekend or the odd series that I get really interested in and read all at once, which is what ups it. And obviously I can't guarantee when that will happen, when I'll get that inspiration. So yeah, we'll just wait and see, but I'm feeling good. I don't feel stressed over my goal at the moment, which is all that I really intended to get out of this video. So yeah, I do hope you enjoyed it. Please do give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.